What do you see as the best way to collect unpaid taxes owed to the county?
I think you need to pursue it on a professional standard. As far as it actually going in the papers, if the economy is tough, if there's people struggling with issues of paying their taxes, I think as a sheriff, you need to place a phone call to the person or persons, a drive out, a visit to their home to find out what actually is going on with their situation, to learn their situation so you can better understand it. And once you know what that situation is, then you can pursue it at that point in time, what would be the best to do to handle it.
Okay, I believe I understand the question. Currently, and it's been in place for years, that all the unpaid taxes, there are taxes, and the taxes are due in November with a discount. They're due in February at a face value. Then there's a 2%, a 5% add-on fee that goes onto the taxes in January and February. Once those taxes become delinquent in March, that's when the list of the delinquents are published in the paper, and there's like 22,000 taxpayers in this county. So it's very tough to go out and see each and every one of them. But I think that delinquent notice in a lot of cases does let people know that their tax bill has become delinquent for sometimes the right reasons. Sometimes a house has been sold during the year, the tax bill has went to the person who actually owned that house in the past 6 months, but in actuality it's been sold, so the person upon closing, when the taxes were prorated, the purchaser of the house now owes the property tax bill. When that takes place, then we contact, or the seller of the home, the original owners, contacts the people, and then they're given an opportunity to come in and pay the tax before the tax bill is sold.
Okay. What is the biggest challenge facing the Jessamine County Sheriff's Office?
I think the biggest challenge in the way this county has grown, and the fact that we have a county that is 160 square miles with 450 miles of roadways in it, is to do everything that's associated with the Sheriff's Office, in addition to provide law enforcement throughout the county. The people doesn't realize, but the Sheriff's Office is one of 2 fee offices within county government that operates within the fees that it collects, from the commissions of property taxes to the civil process fees associated with summons, subpoenas, and so forth. Thank goodness we have a fiscal court that supplements our budget to the tune of almost $600,000 a year, so that we can provide law enforcement throughout the county. But I think one of the biggest problems, of course, Jessamine County is faced with today is the prescription drug problem. The prescription drug problem also drives a lot of theft and burglary crimes that are directly related to the prescription drug abuse problem. So we've got a lot to do in this county, and we've only have a certain amount of resources to do it with. But I think that in the past 4 years, we've increased our presence in this county by over 50% through scheduling and the cutting of overtime, and I'm very proud of the job that we do with the resources we've got to do it with.
The biggest challenge is, like Mr. Corman said there just a second ago, a sheriff's department is not just a sheriff's department, it is also your law enforcement for the county. Actually, we have all the paper service, court, security. You have all your prisoner transports that can be anywhere throughout the Commonwealth, or it could also be throughout the United States. It depends on the level of crime they've committed while they may be wanted here, whether we would transport them back to answer for those charges. The biggest challenge is the drugs. Everybody is struggling with the drug problem. I have several friends that are in the state police. We have discussed the drug problems throughout the other counties. They actually, Jessamine County right now, I'm sad to say, is known as a safe house for Fayette County's drugs. That's exactly how they worded it to me. Due to the lack of patrol, They're bringing all the drug stuff into Jessamine County to keep it over here, because if you're less likely to get on a traffic stop where there's no patrol, so they're bringing the drugs in here, they're selling them over here because they're less likely to get caught. That's the biggest challenge, and that should be number one thing on the list to change here.
Are county roads adequately being patrolled?
No, 100% not. I know that Mr. Corman had stated that he increased patrol by 50%. Just for example, probably 2 weeks ago, I was just curious, wanted to know myself, if we've got all these extra deputies, when I worked up there we had 11 to 13, somewhere in that range. We did the best we could with what we had. Supposedly now it's doubled, 50%. For example, call dispatch, just curious, see who's working, see who's available, what units were out there. And this was on a Saturday night, about 9:30 at night. We had 2 deputies working this whole county, 2 deputies. And to me, the answer to that is no, we're nowhere close. I feel we need to go into sectors. We need to cut this county in 4 pieces. Have a sector or a deputy in each sector. And if I don't have somebody on your street, something happens, then there's at least somebody in that area, so we don't have a 12, 15-minute response time because they're responding from somewhere on the other end of the county.
Mr. Corman, are county roads adequately being patrolled?
Yes, ma'am, I think they are. You know, we do have 25 sworn deputies now on the street. I talked to my first shift sergeant today, Andy Neiman. He's the only shift that we don't have 5 people on at all times. There must have been a extenuating circumstance to Mr. Brown's example that he used the other night, because we're up now to where we have the manpower, other than when there's training or what have you scheduled, that we should have at least 4 people, if not 5 people, out at all times. I checked with our central dispatch this morning, for instance. Our average response time for emergency calls right now is averaging 10.4 minutes. That's pretty strong in the fact that this county has that many miles of roadways in it. You know, the sector concept that Mr. Brown spoke of, it would work if all the calls he's responded to was of non-emergency nature, but a lot of times you don't want one deputy to responding to a call of serious nature. So I very much am proud of the fact that we've been able to increase patrol almost by 50%, and we've done that through scheduling and the cutting of overtime.
What ways do you propose funding the sheriff's office during these tough economic times?
Well, the sheriff's office, like we mentioned earlier, is a fee office. We're funded by the 1.5% commission we receive from property tax collection, which currently stands at $32.9 million this year. There's the civil process that we have. Last year I checked on that. We served 6,450 civil process papers during the first 9 months of this year. That's at $40 a pop. We've served 2,141 warrants, and we've done 4,726 vehicle inspections. All of those numbers have a fee associated with it. Our fees are pretty much driven by the economy, just like everything else. Like when the car business is good, our auto inspections are up. Car business is bad, we start losing numbers. Thank goodness we do have a court that subsidizes our budget. And we do have a sizable tax base compared to some of the other counties. So Jessamine County is on very sound and solid footing. I don't see that I don't see the budget increasing all that much over the next several years, because I don't expect taxes to be increased because of the economy. I don't expect, everybody's sort of operating on a shoestring budget. So, but I do expect that we'll be able to hold our own.
What ways do you propose funding the sheriff's office during tough economic times?
Like you said, we get a percentage of the taxes that are coming in. Our paper service is a huge deal. Just out speaking with some of the general public, that's some of the attorneys in the court systems, even contacted 2 Fayette County attorneys that I've heard had some complaints about paper service down in Jessamine County. And there's a lot of people that's unhappy with the paper service being done. And to my understanding, a lot of our constables has picked up the slack. And when the constables are out serving your papers, they're taking the money also, which would be and should be funding our sheriff's department. A big way, to me, whether the economy is good or bad, is we've got to crack down on this drug stuff. Go up here to the city of Nicholasville police station. Look at how many police cruisers, other vehicles that the fleet is using, or fleet of vehicles they have up there, and look at how many of them say purchased by siege drug money. Go to our sheriff's department, look on any vehicle you want up there, and see how many vehicles you see says anything sieged by drug money or paid by drug money, and it's not up there.